Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana. And we're here today with special guest, Julie Jancius, who's here to share with us her book, Angels and Awakening, a guide to raise your vibration and hear your angels. Have you always wanted to connect with your angels, but you weren't quite sure how to do it? Well, today we're going to cover just that. Our special guest today is Julie Jancius, the Angel Medium. She's a best-selling author and the host of Angels and Awakening Show. She's the founder of Angel Reiki Energy Healing and is a world-renowned angel expert on a mission to teach others how to connect with their angels and loved ones on the other side in order to make this life heaven on earth. Through her inspirational talks, books, podcasts, and courses, Julie will help you understand who you truly are, your soul's purpose, and how to deepen your connection with the other side. So welcome to the show, Julie Jancius.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my goodness, what an honor it is to have you here to talk about this. What even started you on this spiritual path?
Yeah, my dad started coming through, and I was from his first marriage. He was on his third marriage by the time that he had passed, and my last name had changed, so nobody reached out to let us know that he was gone. And the day that he passed, it was August 5th, 2015. I started hearing every single time I would brush my daughter's hair. She needs a hairbrush like I used. She needs a hairbrush like I used. And I had watched shows in the past, like the Long Island Medium, and I assumed that psychics, mediums, angel communicators all were hearing the other side in another voice, not really realizing that what the intuition is and what that communication truly is our own internal dialogue. We all have an intuition. We all have that inner wisdom voice within us. And our angels and our loved ones use it to communicate with us. So, all month long, my dad would be using this phrase with my own internal dialogue as I brushed my kiddo's hair. And I started to think, what is this voice talking about? I've never used another hairbrush except for this big old paddle brush, right? And fast forward an entire month to September 5th, 2015. I'm at work. I get a call from a family member, and I hear Jude's dad's passed. And immediately out of my third eye, I saw this picture, vision of my dad combing my hair with a wooden handlebar brush with these boars like bristles. And I just that like out of my mouth fell these words to my coworker in front of me. Oh my God, my dad's been talking to me. And she goes, you got to figure out how this has happened. So I studied with multiple different spiritual teachers on every coast in different countries and learned how to develop my gifts.
I am so sorry to hear about your father's passing and the way that that happened. That must have been just really heartbreaking.
Thank you.
How did you navigate through that?
Um, I don't think that people understand what the emotion of grief does to the physical body or even your senses until you go through it. For me, it felt like I was under maybe 30, 50 feet of water, where even people can be talking to you, but you feel like you're hearing it through this intense water barrier, right? As if you're just underwater, and it slows you down, really brings you into the present moment. I think there's a lot of shock that comes with it as well. But after that, once you get through that part, when you find that you had this spiritual experience when your loved ones pass, and I've talked to thousands of people who have had similar experiences, there's just this desire to figure out how it all works.
So you were in corporate America during the time that this happened. What happened then?
Well, I was very stubborn. I am a Capricorn and very stubborn. I feel like spirit has to hit me over the head with something 50 times before I listen. But have you ever heard, Mary Ann, that saying, spirit has to shake you to awaken you sometimes?
Oh, yes.
Yes. So that happened to me. I was like you said, working in corporate America, but I didn't have a lot growing up. And so I started working with when I was 14 years old. By the time I was 33 and my dad had passed, I had worked my way up to the position, the title, the salary, having a team working for me, everything that I had wanted. And I remember having this beautiful, cushy office with one wall that was almost all windows. And I would look out of it daydreaming, just thinking to myself, I want a different life. I'm not happy. In fact, I'm just kind of miserable in my career. And then as soon as that thought would come in, my egoic mind would come in and be like, you just got to be happy. You got to be grateful. You're on a trajectory to be at the top of your career and you're working your way up even further. Just stay in line. Just keep doing what you're doing. And um and I wouldn't let myself daydream about the possibilities, and looking back, right, hindsight is 2020, and knowing all that I know now, the angels can only take you as far as you're willing to go, and a lot of times they show all of us these different daydreams within us because anything that you can see for your future is a possibility for you. And so those daydreams were really communications from my angels saying, hey, there's a different path that you can take in this life. But with our own free will, we often shut that down and just say, I should be grateful for what I've got. I should just be grateful for where I am and keep going. And that's what I did. Got so bad though, working for a boss that I had, and I think spirit placed this person in my life to get me to this pinnacle of I just can't continue working for her. I can't continue in this line of work. And kind of came to a mental health crisis in which I had to make a decision, and I made a decision to leave my job. Didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but then spirit, they always say when the student is ready, the teacher appeared, and that happened. And I asked this woman, what do I do? She goes, you just got to get certified in something. You have to have the skills in order to start this second career of yours. So I studied with her an intensive program for 6 months in person, and all of my spiritual gifts started to come through and develop.
That must have been a very, in many ways, kind of an exciting time, but maybe a little scary time too.
Oh yeah, tons of fear. I am a person, my mom always likes to tell people that when I was a child, I did not walk on my feet for an entire year. Instead, I would walk on my knees because unless I know, like I know I can do something, I just don't do it. And so the fear was very, very intense.
So I know that you're just so highly gifted and you're helping people to really connect with their own intuition. What got you to this point where you're like, okay, I'm ready to make this leap now, and this is what I'm going to do?
Well, I think it was more so when I got done with that 6 month program and training, and I did multiple different types of programs. I started my own business, and I just asked God, Universe, Source, how do I build up a clientele? And I followed very, very specific instructions. Put a gift card in these nonprofit fundraisers, and I gave out 5 gift cards. Those people came in and they sent other people and they sent other people. And within the first 4 to 6 months, my entire schedule was just completely booked out.
Well, congratulations, but I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. So, when people are holding a certain energy, does that affect how they can or perhaps cannot hear their intuition?
Absolutely. So, what I like people to do, I'm a very visual learner. I like people to visualize what is your soul. If you really look at it, your soul is one droplet in the ocean that is God, universe, source. And therefore, that droplet that is your soul is the same vibrational frequency as God, universe, source. And it is the same consciousness as God, universe, source. You're linked to all of it. But what happens is when you get into a person's energy field, oftentimes they have layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of all of these different vibrations from this world, right? Wants, needs, desires from this world layered on top within their auric field. And that's where I was going with the question that you asked before. Sorry. I ended up working on over 1,000 people that first year. And through that work with those 1,000 of people, you see commonalities, threads that's just common amongst all folks. And some of those commonalities are not understood by the masses. People don't get how the intuition works. People don't get these very simple fundamental steps of how our angels, which are just extensions of God's energy, are really guiding us within our lives. And I would say one of the biggest themes that I see within people are they don't understand how to open their hearts in a way where they're allowing themselves to be led. Because when we allow ourselves to be led by the signs, by the angel numbers, going even further by the messages through our intuition, our lives become completely different. And I believe that, we all talk about happiness so much and, oh, well, you can't have happiness 24/7, but we can have joy. Um, what we're all really looking for is this energy and emotion of fulfillment. So, to me, fulfillment is an emotion that we can have 24/7 when we are really engaged in a daily spiritual practice, when we understand how our intuition works, when we understand how our angels want to lead and guide us. And when we're allowing ourselves to follow that path, we're really following our soul's path. The soul is the reason why we're here. It has an agenda, it has gifts, talents, abilities it wants to share with this world. And when we start living in this way, we feel full and we carry around this fulfillment all the time. And it's a completely different way of living that feels like heaven on earth.
That sounds so beautiful, and I know so many people want to get to this place, and it sounds like it's really just having this perception shift into a new understanding.
Yes. Oh, perfect. That's where I was going before. So you were talking about oneness. Oneness is the first step. So I say that oneness is when you remove your separation, like it's not me versus you or me and you, Marianne. Everything is one. And so when you can really raise your vibration to hold that vibration of your soul self, which is really same vibration that connects us to all that is, that's when your vibration is at that point. And it's not like a raising your vibration and in different ways. I have this podcast episode in Angels and Awakening podcast. It's the third episode where I do an entire oneness meditation to walk you through it. Once you can get your daily life into that vibration, hold it 2-3 hours a day, then it's synced up with your consciousness. So now you're thinking not from the egoic mind, which most humans do 99% of the time. Now your intuition is activated. Now you're hearing from your loved ones on the other side, who, by the way, are always guiding you. It's like they've got a VHS tape that they can just fast forward, see everything that's going to happen, and line things up precisely to go the way that you want it to. Um, That's what happens when you understand how to raise your vibration in a certain way. You activate your intuition and that divine consciousness that we all have within us.
Well, on that note, we're going to pause here for a quick break. We've been speaking with Julie Jancius in regards to her new book, Angels and Awakening. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Julie Jancius, the angel medium. Want to know how to hear your angels clearly? Listen to the Angels and Awakening podcast every week. And if you want to go even deeper, register for my free 3-day Angel Fest online retreat to know exactly which angels are working with you. Register today at theangelmedium.com/free. That's theangelmedium.com/free.
Lindsay Roy's new book, The Gift of Perspective, is a must-read. Lindsay's unique life stories of surviving and thriving after 2 major life challenges is a wonderful companion to start your new year. It's a great guidebook for anyone facing a challenge, big or small, in business or in life. Lindsay's own stories and the anecdotes of those she met along the way help illuminate real ideas in real circumstances, drawing out reflections and actionable takeaways for all. Full of faith, grit, and humor, this book has the power to change how you see things. The Gift of Perspective is available at Amazon or visit Lindsay's website at lindsayroy.com. I'd like to thank Jason Eastwood at Guitarfulness for sharing his inspiring music and talent with us. His music is known worldwide for cultivating atmospheres of harmony, inner peace, and clarity. Visit Jason's website at guitarfulness.com. Join his newsletter, be part of his community, and download his music. Welcome back to Moments with Mary Ann. We're here today with special guest, Julie Jancius, and she's sharing with us her new book, Angels and Awakening, a guide to raise your vibration and hear your angels. So I know you talk about spirit teams. So what are those, and does everyone have one?
Oh, yes. So everybody has this team on the other side. I like to say God, universe, source, stack the deck in our favor, right? We have angels, we have guides, we have loved ones on the other side. And, think about this. If you have kids and they have kids and they have kids, and you're on the other side one day when you're old and gray, you go to heaven. You still want to know how things turned out. How did your ancestral line end up moving? What happened to your great grandchildren and the children after that? So, our spirit team is actually much, much larger than you would think it is. But normally, when I'm working with people in sessions, it's your mom, dad, loved ones, siblings coming through. It's also your angels. You have so many different angels that are helping you in so many different ways. And just like all of us here on earth have a different role, purpose, responsibility, each angel, the archangels, the seraphim angels, the cherub angels, they were all designed in different ways to help us in this life. So when you understand exactly who's on your spirit team, what the different angels are working on, more so in your life. All right, I'm struggling with relationship challenges. I'm going to call on Archangel Shamuel. All right, I'm struggling with fear right now. I'm going to call on Archangel Michael. All right, I know my dad on the other side sends me cardinals all the time. So when I see the cardinal today, I know he's sending me a sign that everything's going to work out just perfectly. And that in and of itself really helps us when we know exactly who's on our spirit team. We're working with them more closely, and that's part of how we allow ourselves to be led.
I like that. I like that. Well, and so how is life different for us if we are following our intuition versus maybe someone who's not?
Right. Did you know that they did a survey, and I'm not going to get the numbers precisely right on this, but I think it's somewhere upwards of 90 to 95% of people who are on their deathbed say that they have regrets. And of those regrets, the highest regret is not doing something because of what we think people are going to think of us, the opinions of others. And I just kind of not in like a funny way where we're making fun of anybody, but it's just kind of ironic, isn't it? To think that most of us, when we get to the end of our lives, feel as though we haven't lived because we didn't want to offend, upset, or get judged or shamed by other people. And so I believe that a lot of my work, specifically with the angels, because this is all of what the angels do, is to help people realize that that's the last thing you want to happen. You're here to live. And the only way that you can live is to walk through the open doors in front of you. Allow yourself to daydream. When a daydream comes in, a possibility, oh my gosh, I keep seeing this vision, or I keep hearing this, or I keep feeling this. Don't shut it off. Go into it deeper. People are shown all the time that they could start a podcast or write a book or take a course or develop this skill or help humanity in some way. And and we turn it off. We shut it down. And what we want to do is really stop that within all of humanity and help everyone see that when we're just focused on living out what our soul self wants to do, experience, share with the world here, my God, does this life become different? Um, it becomes heaven on earth. You feel so full every day with this fulfillment. And it's just so beautiful. I mean, even thinking about it right now just makes me want to cry. I want to give that to everybody within this world.
So you've talked about fulfillment a couple of times. Is that an emotion? And if so, what kind of emotion is that?
You know how they say happiness comes and goes, right? And we've all had this. Happiness is something that comes in waves or clouds and we feel it. And it's wonderful to feel that exhilaration energy, but it fades. However, joy is an element within us that just stays and it's always in the background. I mean, you could go through the most challenging time, but you still feel full with joy because you know that you're being guided, you know that you're being led, you know how loved and supported you are from the other side. In the same way, because your soul, like our human consciousness was not the one on the other side before we came and were birthed into earth, that decided what we were going to do. I believe every soul is its own infinity, and we are infinite infinities having this collective shared experience here. But we dim ourselves down. We I think more so don't step into our own power because we know how powerful we are and in a beautiful, loving way. And we're scared of the magnitude at which we could accomplish here. And so that fulfillment is more so like joy. When you are living based on your soul's path, everything starts to click. Who you are, a lot of us were shamed growing up. You're too much of this, you're too sensitive, you're, too this, too that. It's all a bunch of baloney. Who you are in every facet, in every way, is exactly who you're meant to be and contribute to why you're here. So there comes this beautiful acceptance of yourself and allowing yourself to be more authentically you than you've ever been before. And as that happens, you feel so full in your spirit. Your spirit is just turned on, amplified, and it's an emotion beyond joy. It brings together joy and peace and ease and love, and you're just full, filled.
So, how do people determine that they are hearing their intuition?
Yes. So I've got a couple of different courses on this. I actually have an email series too this entire year where I'm sharing a new tool each Monday. But the intuition is the voice of your soul. The egoic mind, which is not bad or wrong, is the voice of your human self, your human body. As many know, the egoic mind voice was developed over eons here on Earth in order to protect us, protective mechanism. And so a lot of times, it's just about really looking at and learning the skill of how to differentiate what the egoic mind sounds like, feels like within the body versus what the intuition voice sounds like, feels like. I just read an article the other day, and I don't remember what publication it was in, but they said scientists have determined, or they believe, that consciousness is not just found within the brain, because they were looking at this worm and determined that the consciousness is actually within every cell of your entire being. And that's what I believe as well. So when we learn how to activate this intuitive consciousness within our entire being, it feels different. It's a different voice, and you can learn to differentiate which voice you're hearing within yourself.
So, why do we have angels and how do we identify which angels we should be working with?
Yes. So I wrote a book all on that and raising your vibration and getting into oneness. That's the first part. And then two-thirds of the rest of the book is basically an angel dictionary. Goes through all of the different archangels, your seraphim angels, your cherub angels, exactly what each is responsible for within your life. And by the end of the book, I have worksheets in there. So you definitely want to purchase this book, not just read it on Audible, because there's a lot of workbook, book combo. I didn't want people to have to pay for two separate things. By the end of the book, there's a section where you can say, here's exactly who's on my spirit team. Here's the signs that they're sending me. And here's exactly how they're working with me in my life so that you can really individualize it to your own personal experience and know exactly who's working with you when.
I think that's so fabulous to be able to have that as a resource and being able to kind of touch in. And you've got some really amazing classes. Can you share a little bit about the Angel Reiki school that you have? I mean, I'm so impressed with that.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, it was the first class that I've developed. We've had over 500 people come through the school. I kind of wish I would have named it the Angel Reiki Mediumship School, but that name was just too long, because what it does is it's a one-stop shop to develop all of your gifts in mediumship, all of your gifts in how to bring through angelic messages for other people, all of your gifts of energy healing, and then your unique gifts. So I don't believe, a lot of people in the spiritual community will say, what Claire are you? I don't believe that we just have one Claire. I think that we have so many different gifts. And so the Angel Reiki School was created so that you don't have to go take this mediumship class over here, this class on working with angels over here, or a Reiki course over here. It's all in one. And what I've found as those 500 students have come through is that your unique gifts come out as well. So some people also have the gift of seeing color that could come out in the Angel Reiki School. Some people have the gift of communicating with pets on the other side that could come out in my Angel Reiki School. And by the end, we're certifying you to start your own business, work with clients, teaching you how to develop that clientele spiritual and that business, which you just don't get in your local Reiki program. And it's so fabulous. People just love it. And my students have written books. I think we've had over a dozen students write books afterwards, start their own podcasts, start their incredible businesses. Some folks come through the Angel Reiki School not because they want to start a business, just because they want to develop all of their gifts to the max. And that's incredible as well.
What a great opportunity. Now, that's also open for people that are just empaths, or is it just open for people who are into Reiki?
Oh, no. It's for anybody who wants to learn to develop all of their unique spiritual gifts. We do focus in heavily on mediumship. We train you in mediumship. We train you in how to work with the angels to bring through messages for other people. We train you in Reiki energy healing and a couple other different healing modalities. We bring in information. I teach people about past life communication in there as well, how to work with different colors. So it's kind of like the X-Men school for gifted children. It's for anybody who wants to develop any of their gifts whatsoever.
So, why don't you share a little bit about the Angel membership? I thought that that was really interesting as well.
Yeah, I have so many clients who do not want to start their own business or really develop their gifts. They're really focused on just learning how to do the work themselves, grow themselves. They want to just work with their own personal angels in their own lives, develop their intuition. And it's really about allowing yourself to be guided. So, everything that I was talking about earlier, learning to activate your intuition, learning to raise your vibration to get into oneness, learning to hear your intuition, learning how to work with your angels and allowing them to guide you. That's all that the membership does. So we have weekly events, live events in the membership to really bring together community because there are so many people as they're going through a spiritual awakening who have no one to talk about it with. We have a side group within the membership of people who have recently lost somebody, a loved one in their lives. And so we have some spiritual grief support in there, not by a counselor, but by an end of life doula. And we also have access to all of my past courses, except for the Angel Reiki School. And so, really, you could think about it like the membership is all about developing yourself, your own connection with your angels to use with yourself in your own personal life. And the Angel Reiki School is really there to develop all of your spiritual gifts in order to be able to work with other people, because those are two vastly different things.
If someone wants to book a private appointment with you, is that possible?
Oh, absolutely. They can go over to theangelmedium.com and there's a readings tab. They can click on that. And I'd love to work with them in a 30-minute or 60-minute session.
Well, Julie, where can our listeners connect with you and be part of your community and learn more about your work?
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, they can go over to theangelmedium.com. If they go to theangelmedium.com/free, I have a free 3-day conference called Angel Fest that we provide to them. And if they also want to follow me on Instagram, I'm over there all the time answering questions at Angel Podcast.
Well, Julie, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Oh, Marianne, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you, Julie. It has been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about your new book, Angels and Awakening, a guide to raise your vibration and hear your angels. Angels and Awakenings available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all indie retailers. And remember, support our indie bookstores. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.